They say the most dangerous creatures are the ones you never see coming. While demons announce their presence with fury and chaos, earth angels move in silence, carrying a power that makes even the darkest forces tremble. You see, when a gentle soul finally reveals their true strength, it's not just frightening, it's absolutely terrifying. Today, we're uncovering why those who underestimated God's chosen ones are now facing their greatest awakening. Most people make a critical mistake when they encounter a gentle soul. They see the soft smile, the kind eyes, and the willingness to help others, and they assume it means weakness. What they fail to understand is that true power doesn't need to announce itself. It simply exists, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Think about the most powerful forces in nature. A storm doesn't warn you before it transforms the sky. An earthquake doesn't send invitations before it shakes the ground. And just like these forces of nature, a chosen one's power lies dormant until the moment calls for its awakening. What makes this power truly remarkable isn't its intensity, it's its source. Unlike those who draw their strength from anger, fear, or the need to control others, chosen ones channel something far more profound: divine purpose. This isn't about ego or proving something to the world. It's about standing firmly in your truth, even when the world tries to push you off balance. When someone tries to take advantage of this perceived gentleness, they're in for a shocking revelation. The same hands that offer healing can also set boundaries firmer than steel. The same voice that speaks words of comfort can deliver truth so pure it cuts through every lie and manipulation. This isn't about becoming harsh or cruel. It's about showing the world that true strength doesn't require violence or intimidation. Consider how water shapes the earth, not through force, but through persistent, unwavering presence. Like water, chosen ones don't need to fight or struggle to make their impact. Their very presence alters the energy of every space they enter, shifting atmospheres and transforming situations without a single word spoken. This is what terrifies those who operate from a place of control and manipulation. They can't understand a power that doesn't need to dominate to be effective. They can't comprehend strength that comes from a place of love rather than fear. And most importantly, they never expected that the gentle soul they tried to overpower would turn out to be an unshakable force of divine nature. What these manipulators fail to understand is that chosen ones aren't playing the same game. While others measure power by how much they can take, control, or dominate, divine power operates on an entirely different frequency. It's the difference between a firecracker that makes noise and light for a moment and the sun that silently powers entire worlds. The most fascinating part? This power grows stronger with each test it faces. Every time someone tries to dim your light, they unknowingly help it shine brighter. Every attempt to break your spirit only reinforces your divine connection. It's like trying to destroy a diamond with a feather. The very attempt reveals which one holds true power. This is the great awakening that's taking place right now. More and more chosen ones are realizing that their gentleness isn't a weakness to be overcome, but a sign of power that's been within them all along. A power that doesn't need validation from those operating at lower frequencies. A power that transforms lives simply by being true to its divine nature. Here's something that catches manipulators completely off guard: the way a chosen one sets boundaries. They're used to people who either build walls so high nobody can get in, or those who have no boundaries at all. But what they encounter with a chosen one, that's something entirely different. Imagine walking into what seems like an open garden. The flowers are blooming, there's beauty everywhere, and at first glance, it appears completely unguarded. That's how most people see a chosen one's spirit: inviting, warm, welcoming. But the moment they try to trample on those flowers, they hit an invisible force field so powerful it stops them in their tracks. This is where the true magic lies. A chosen one doesn't need to announce their boundaries with harsh words or aggressive displays. They don't need to threaten or intimidate. Instead, their boundaries are like divine law, invisible yet absolute, gentle yet unbreakable. When someone crosses that line, they don't find anger or emotional outbursts. Instead, they encounter something far more unsettling: calm, unwavering certainty. What makes these boundaries so powerful is that they're not built from fear or past trauma. They're not walls put up to keep people out. Instead, they're sacred circles drawn from a place of self-respect and divine understanding. A chosen one knows their worth isn't up for negotiation, their energy isn't for sale, their spirit isn't open for exploitation. The most fascinating part, these boundaries aren't rigid or inflexible. Like a river that flows around obstacles while never losing its course, a chosen one can adapt and adjust while maintaining their core values intact. They know when to open the gates and when to keep them firmly shut. This discernment is what makes their boundaries so effective and so terrifying to those who are used to finding weak spots in others' defenses. Think about it. What's more intimidating than someone who can say no with a smile? Someone who can maintain their stance without raising their voice? Someone who doesn't need to explain or justify their boundaries because they know their worth is divinely ordained? This is the power that leaves manipulators speechless. They're used to people who can be guilted, pressured, or emotionally manipulated into lowering their guards, but with a chosen one, they find themselves facing boundaries that feel as natural and immovable as the laws of the universe itself. And here's what makes this even more remarkable. Your boundaries strengthen with every test they face. Each time someone tries to cross a line, your inner compass becomes more finely tuned. You develop an almost supernatural ability to sense when someone's about to overstep before they even make their move. It's like having an early warning system powered by divine wisdom. This is precisely why those with ill intentions find themselves so unsettled in your presence. They're used to finding cracks in people's defenses, but your boundaries aren't built on fear or past experiences. They're anchored in divine truth, making them essentially impenetrable. Most people have no idea they're being read like an open book until it's too late. That's the unique gift of a chosen one, the ability to see through layers of deception without saying a word. This isn't about psychic abilities or supernatural powers. It's about having a spirit so aligned with truth that lies simply can't survive in their presence. When you operate from divine wisdom, you don't need elaborate techniques to understand people's true intentions. You can feel the discord between someone's words and their energy. You notice the subtle shifts in their behavior, the tiny inconsistencies that others might miss. But here's what makes this ability truly powerful. You don't use it to expose or humiliate others. Instead, you become like a mirror, reflecting truth back to those who approach you. People who come with hidden agendas suddenly find themselves feeling exposed, not because you've called them out, but because your authentic presence naturally illuminates what they're trying to hide. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. You don't have to point out the shadows. They simply disappear on their own. This gift of discernment becomes particularly unnerving for those who've built their lives on manipulation and deceit. They're used to people who either blindly trust or are constantly suspicious. But a chosen one, they simply observe, understand, and respond with perfect clarity. There's no judgment, no accusation, just pure, unfiltered truth. Think about how uncomfortable it feels when someone can see right through your carefully constructed facade. Now imagine that person doesn't use this insight as a weapon, but rather as a tool for transformation. That's the power of a chosen one's perception. It doesn't just expose darkness, it offers an opportunity for light to enter. This silent wisdom carries more weight than any verbal confrontation. It's the kind of power that makes people question their own motives, not because they're being attacked, but because they're being understood on a level they didn't even understand themselves. The most fascinating part is how this gift of discernment becomes sharper over time. Like a master artisan whose skills grow more refined with each piece they create, your ability to read between the lines, to sense underlying truths, only grows stronger with each encounter. This isn't about becoming more suspicious, it's about becoming more attuned to divine wisdom. What makes this power truly remarkable is that it can't be faked or fooled. Those who try to outsmart it only end up revealing more of their true nature. It's like trying to hide from a light that can see through walls. The very attempt to conceal only makes you more visible. Let others mistake your silence for weakness. Let them think your calm demeanor means you lack authority. Because when you carry divine presence, you don't need to announce your power. Your energy speaks volumes before you ever say a word. A chosen one's presence transforms spaces without effort. Walk into a room full of chaos and watch how the atmosphere shifts. It's not about dominating the space or demanding attention. Instead, it's about carrying a frequency so pure, so aligned with higher truth, that lower energies naturally begin to dissolve. This is what truly unsettles those who rely on chaos and drama to maintain control. They're used to environments they can manipulate, energies they can disturb, but when they encounter someone whose peace runs so deep, their usual tactics fall flat. They throw their chaos at you, expecting you to react, to engage, to be pulled into their storm. Instead, they find themselves facing a stillness so powerful, it makes their drama feel small and insignificant. Consider how the moon affects the tides without ever touching the water. That's how a chosen one's presence works. You don't need to interfere directly to create change. Your aligned energy naturally draws others toward their own truth, even when they resist it. Those operating from ego and fear find this especially disturbing because they can't understand power that doesn't need to prove itself. The most profound aspect of this divine presence is its consistency. Unlike those who can only maintain their composure in certain situations, your foundation remains unshakable regardless of external circumstances. This isn't about perfection, it's about authenticity. When your power comes from divine connection rather than earthly validation, you become like a lighthouse in a storm, steady and unwavering. And here's what really makes manipulators nervous. They can sense that your presence isn't a learned behavior or a practiced skill. It's the natural radiance of a soul fully aligned with its divine purpose. You can't fake that kind of authenticity, and you certainly can't control someone who embodies it. What truly sets this divine presence apart is its ripple effect. Like a stone dropped in still water, your energy continues to influence long after you've left a space. People find themselves naturally reflecting on their actions, questioning their motives, and feeling drawn toward authenticity. Not because you demanded it, but because they've experienced what true alignment feels like. Those who witness this power in action often find themselves transformed without even realizing how it happened. That's because divine presence doesn't force change. It inspires it naturally, like sunshine encouraging a flower to bloom. There's a reason why those who live in shadows feel uneasy around a chosen one's light. When you speak your truth, it doesn't just communicate, it illuminates. Your words carry a frequency that cuts through layers of deception like sunlight, piercing through fog, not because you're trying to expose anyone, but because truth is your natural state of being. Think of how a black light reveals what's hidden from normal sight. That's how your presence affects those who've built their lives on half-truths and manipulation. You don't even need to address their deception directly. Simply by existing in your authentic truth, you create an environment where falsehood becomes glaringly obvious. This isn't about having special powers of perception. It's about being so deeply aligned with truth that anything less becomes uncomfortable in your presence. Watch how people who are used to spinning stories suddenly find themselves stumbling over their words around you. Notice how those who typically manipulate with ease begin to feel their carefully constructed narratives crumbling. The most powerful aspect of this clarity is that it comes from a place of love, not judgment. You're not exposing deception to shame or punish. You're illuminating truth to heal and transform. This is precisely what makes it so effective and so terrifying to those who aren't ready to face their own shadows. They can handle being called out, but being lovingly seen through, that shakes them to their core. In a world where everyone seems to be selling something, hiding something, or pretending to be something they're not, your authentic presence becomes like a tuning fork, revealing what's out of alignment, not through confrontation or accusation, but through the simple, unwavering resonance of truth. Remember, when you speak from this place of divine clarity, your words don't just convey meaning, they carry light. And that light has a way of reaching places that even the most carefully crafted deception can't protect. The real power lies in how this clarity grows stronger with each passing day. As you align more deeply with your divine purpose, your ability to distinguish truth from illusion becomes almost instantaneous. It's like developing a spiritual immune system that naturally rejects anything false or manipulative. Those who experience this clarity often find themselves unable to return to their old ways of being. Once truth has been witnessed at this level, deception loses its appeal entirely. It's like trying to prefer candlelight after seeing the sun. Here's what catches people off guard about a chosen one's forgiveness. It comes with perfect memory. They expect forgiveness to mean forgetting, to mean endless second chances. But divine forgiveness operates on an entirely different frequency. It's not about wiping the slate clean, it's about seeing the full picture with crystal clarity and choosing peace anyway. When you forgive from divine wisdom, you're not being naive. You're not pretending the hurt never happened or setting yourself up to be wounded again. Instead, you're demonstrating a power that most people can't comprehend, the ability to release the emotional burden while keeping the wisdom gained. This kind of forgiveness doesn't make you vulnerable, it makes you invincible. Watch how it confuses those who are used to manipulating through guilt. They expect your forgiveness to be a weakness they can exploit, a door they can keep walking through. Instead, they find that while you've released the anger, you've kept the discernment. Your forgiveness becomes a mirror showing them exactly who they are, and that reflection often terrifies them more than any confrontation could. Think of it like a master chess player who remembers every move their opponent has made, not to seek revenge, but to play more wisely. Your forgiveness comes with this same level of awareness. You release the emotional charge while maintaining perfect clarity about patterns and intentions. This isn't about holding grudges, it's about holding wisdom. The most powerful aspect of this divine forgiveness is how it transforms relationships. Those who are genuine find themselves drawn to your authentic grace, while those who seek to take advantage naturally fall away. You don't need to push anyone out of your life. Your forgiveness creates a natural sorting process, elevating connections that align with truth and naturally dissolving those that don't. This divine approach to forgiveness carries another powerful aspect. It actually strengthens your discernment rather than weakening it. Each experience becomes a thread in the tapestry of your wisdom, creating a pattern that helps you navigate future encounters with greater clarity and grace. Those who witness this kind of forgiveness often find themselves transformed by it. It challenges their understanding of what true power looks like, showing them that the ability to forgive while maintaining clear boundaries is one of the strongest forces in existence. What terrifies manipulators most about a chosen one isn't their strength or their wisdom, it's their absolute freedom from attachment. When you're anchored in divine purpose, you don't cling to outcomes, relationships, or situations. This creates a kind of power that those who rely on control simply can't comprehend. Most people build their influence through creating dependency. They want others to need them, to fear losing them, to be attached to what they offer. But watch what happens when they encounter someone who's complete within themselves. All their usual tactics, the guilt trips, the emotional manipulation, the subtle threats of withdrawal, suddenly become powerless. This isn't about being cold or disconnected. Instead, it's about loving so purely that you don't need to possess. You can care deeply while remaining completely free. Think of how the sun gives light without expecting anything in return. That's how a chosen one moves through the world, fully engaged yet completely detached from the need to control how others receive their light. The most fascinating part, this detachment actually deepens your impact. When you're not desperately trying to hold on to people or force specific outcomes, you create space for divine timing to work through you. Those who are meant to stay in your life remain naturally drawn to your authentic energy rather than held by manipulation or fear. Your ability to walk away with grace, to let situations unfold without forcing them, to love without demanding, this becomes your greatest strength. Because while others are exhausting themselves trying to control every aspect of their lives, you're flowing with divine purpose, untouchable in your freedom from attachment. This level of detachment carries another fascinating quality. It actually deepens your capacity to experience joy and connection. When you're not desperately trying to hold on to anything, you're free to fully appreciate each moment, each relationship, each experience for exactly what it is. It's like being able to enjoy a beautiful sunset without trying to make it last forever. This freedom from attachment becomes your superpower, allowing you to move through life with grace and purpose. Here's something that shakes the very foundation of those who try to exploit kindness: a chosen one's ability to love unconditionally while maintaining unshakable standards. This isn't the kind of love that people are used to encountering. It's not a doormat kind of love that accepts mistreatment, nor is it a conditional love that must be earned through perfect behavior. Most assume that endless compassion means endless tolerance. But watch closely when a chosen one demonstrates what divine love truly means. Their love flows freely, yet it comes with crystal clear boundaries, like a majestic river that nourishes everything it touches while staying true to its own course. Their love is both generous and grounded. This creates a fascinating dynamic that leaves manipulators completely disoriented. They're used to people whose love can be weaponized against them, those who will compromise their values, ignore their intuition, or abandon their boundaries in the name of love. Instead, they encounter someone whose love is so pure that it naturally rejects anything that doesn't align with truth. Think about the sun again. It gives warmth to everyone, yet you can't demand it shine only for you. You can't negotiate with it to change its nature. That's how a chosen one loves, universally yet with divine discernment. Their love isn't a weakness to be exploited. It's a force that naturally elevates everyone it touches while maintaining its own sacred integrity. The most powerful aspect of this love is how it transforms relationships. Those who approach with genuine hearts find themselves embraced and uplifted, while those who come with manipulation in mind discover that this love has teeth, not to bite. but to maintain firm boundaries that protect its divine nature. This divine standard of love carries with it a transformative power that extends far beyond individual relationships. It becomes a template for others, showing them what's possible when love is both boundless and boundaried. It's like being a living example of how the universe loves, unconditionally yet with perfect discernment. Those who experience this kind of love often find themselves naturally elevating their own standards, not out of fear or judgment, but from witnessing what true divine love looks like in action. You see, the world wasn't ready for this kind of power. They thought gentleness meant weakness, that kindness could be exploited, that love could be manipulated. But now they're witnessing something that defies everything they thought they knew about strength. A chosen one doesn't need to prove their power through force or intimidation. Their very presence speaks volumes. Their boundaries don't bend. Their love doesn't compromise. Their truth doesn't waver. And most importantly, their spirit remains unbroken, untainted by the lower energies that try to disturb their peace. Remember this: when you carry divine light within you, you don't need to announce your power. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You don't need to explain your standards. Your energy speaks for itself, and that's what makes it so absolutely terrifying to those who thought they could dim your light. The next time someone mistakes your kindness for weakness, let them. When they try to push against your boundaries, stay steady. When they attempt to manipulate your love, stand firm. Because the most powerful force in this universe isn't the one that destroys, it's the one that remains true to its divine nature, no matter what storms may come. You're not just another gentle soul in this world, you're a chosen one, carrying a light so pure it makes darkness tremble. And it's time for the world to remember why they should never underestimate someone who walks with divine purpose. So stand tall in your power. Let your light shine without dimming it for those who prefer darkness. Your presence in this world isn't just about your individual journey. It's about showing others what's possible when someone fully embraces their divine nature. The world needs your kind of strength now more than ever. The kind that transforms without destroying, that loves without compromising, that shines without burning.